Welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Call with your host, Kerry, managing broker at RE/MAX Elite, and Heather Holiday, your social marketing nut, talking about hottest real estate topics with a little weekly activity and motivation for the week. Good morning and happy Monday.
Good morning. Good morning. I cannot believe that it is the 1st of August. And so I'll let you all know because I am a Leo, and in true Leo form, we like attention. It is my birthday today.
My favorite memory on your birthday, and I'm pretty sure, it was on your birthday, was when it happened to be, the kickoff for Month of Miracles.
Yep.
And we had even other brokerages coming to
Correct.
this. And we all, because we take over, it was Uno's at the time. We can't do that there anymore. And we all, they did like the chicken dance, didn't they? Like all these other
indeed. They did indeed. It was the home inspector whose name went out of my mind, and I think Jason Bucci from Century 21,
yes.
and Sean Fortenberry from Prestige Title. Yeah.
They did the chicken dance, and then everybody sang you happy. That was my favorite birthday for you.
And I think that was 4 years ago.
I think it's more than that now.
Not sure. Well, it's since I was the broker, and it could have been 5. It could have been my first year, which would have been my 50th birthday. So now if you do the math, you can figure out how old I am now. Getting old is just
that was so much fun. So so August 1st, kickoff of Month of Miracles, which is one of our favorite months. And I know our office can get a little crazy, and I know we're doing an event next month.
Yep. We're doing it in September because it's just too hot in August, and we're combining our family.
September always worries me to do anything because that's like
hurricane season.
Yeah,
the height of hurricane season, really.
For us, yes.
Yeah.
But I do have a nice little giveaway of when I went to Gatlinburg. Of course, I was left unattended after doing sampling, so I bought a lot of crap. Well, it's my mom's birthday, and I've got this fundraiser, and why not bring something that's relative to me. For so I have like a huge Old Smoky giveaway.
Cool.
Something
so we're combining our Children's Miracle Network Hospital major fundraiser with our family fun day.
But we're not having the dunk tank like we did the last time.
No dunk tank, just a water slide. Yes.
That was a fun idea.
It was a really great idea and a fun time.
But if that, never again.
Right.
But we did it. It was Dunkin' for Miracles or something. I don't even know. But
yeah, exactly.
That was not probably one of my smartest ideas. It sounded fun. I'm sure we raised a lot of money, but all the kids just kept dunking.
I know.
Although that
it was Marina who was doing it. She would come up and just, instead of throwing the ball when I was sitting in the dunk tank, she would run right up to the thing. And
it's not easy to get back on the seat. So
no.
It's easier. Come on in here. It feels good. Just sit on my lap.
Right.
That was a lot easier because then at least, you didn't have to try to get back up all the time because you weren't.
Right. Right.
As we're in August, I actually did a webinar with a real estate coach a couple weeks ago with a lot of friends, and it was quite interesting. And it's like we're constant, that the one great thing we're always saying we love about real estate is it's never the same. It's just not. It's always evolving. The market changes. Just everything changes. It's something that I've loved because it's always constantly giving me room for growth or whatever. You kind of have to, I think it was in the Sales Power. Tom Ferry made that analogy, like when you're playing golf, one play with better golfers, right? I've always kind of done that. But sometimes you just need to make a little twist in that wrist to kind of make those adjust. And I'm always saying, I think, because there's always adjusting your sales. And that's what we're constantly having to do. And of course, the last couple years have been almost like you're so busy you can't even think straight, right? Like I just got to keep looking forward. I can't look back. I can't look to the side. Like you just have that forward momentum just keeping you going. And now, there has been a little shift, which is great, but it's like sometimes we have to make those little tweaks in our own business as well. So I thought this was kind of a great show, beginning of the month, always kind of going into like the business planning type topic.
Right.
So it's 4 strategies you can be adding to your business so that we can make sure to reach all those goals that we have for ourselves for this year, but maybe just kind of adding that little tweak and what you may be doing or may not be doing, maybe something that you can be adding to what you had going on. So I thought these were some great ideas. It's ideas that I hear about all the time. So I just thought this would be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, I think we've moved away from the first thing, which is email marketing. We've kind of moved away from that. We've moved much more towards texting or social media. But think about the email marketing that you're receiving every day. And I receive a lot. I may not open all of those emails, but it's a reminder. It's a reminder of whatever it is, whether it's Home Depot or Ruggable, which is a rug company, or I can't think of anything else right now. But
it's really the top of mind, right?
Yes, there
Even
you
if
go.
You're not reading the whole thing. I do feel if you provide enough value, my favorite is adding like local events. And the Space Coast is perfect because you have so many launches. That's one place to start. What's the launch schedule like this month? There's something always going on.
That's a great idea, actually, when you think about it, because I get the texts about the launch going up, but to just send it out to your database so people remember that they're coming up, and Tom Ferry on one of his podcasts recently, they're talking about sending out 3 emails a week. To
me, that's too much like spam. And I know because like Ricky, he's all into that at least once a week with all these different links and stuff like that. To me, that's just too much. I think even and most agents aren't even doing 1 a month. So
right.
At least start with that. To me, the 3 a week is just ridiculous.
Well, I guess if you are providing something of value.
And I think that agent was doing like a video and stuff like that too. So it's not like they all looked the same.
Right.
Each day was something different. And I think the Friday was like a video. Monday was kind of like catching up from the weekend, things that may be going on. I still think 3's a lot. But you really have to make them different. And it's a lot of work. It
is a lot of work, but you can utilize some of the tools you already have. So with Remax, we have the ability to send out newsletters, so we can do that. Our office provides Chime. There's content that you can send out through Chime to your database, or like you suggest, you can come up with local stuff that's cool and what's happening. And here's the monthly schedule of launches, or here's the monthly goings on, or here's the monthly food trucks that are going to be at different places, or, come up with something that's.
I think it's easy enough. Mm-hmm. So even if you were to use like MailChimp or something like that, where it's free for up to, X amount of people. And all of these programs are relatively cheap. The time part comes in is setting up your template. I have a folder in my browser that has, for each, for like the office,
right.
All of these websites have different events.
Right.
So it's like, once you know where to find these resources, it's super easy to go kind of copy and paste and be able to have all of these different events to put in there. And really, It's like your listing or something like that. It's super easy. The really time consuming part is setting up the template. And then it's going to take you maybe 10, 15 minutes each month to just grab the new data. There could be a Facebook that already does a graphic. I like to do graphics and all that. You don't have to. You can just link it. But it's something that's going to be different than what everybody else is sending out. It's going to provide value. People are going to be looking forward to that email, especially if you have local events of what's going on.
Right.
And it, gives something people know, like it's not just fluff content.
Right.
It's local to my area. You become the expert. In that template, you could have links to the places that, you really work. You could have the cities. You set that up on the template. You link it to your website once, each of these, and may have market reports for each of those, like Chime. We can have market reports for each city. So put the cities in there, link it once in that template. Now, when you copy that template, it's already done. You're just filling in the local events. What's your featured property of the month? Anything new, maybe a blog or something. And with our website, we have a couple blogs a week. Just what you like, copy, paste.
Yeah.
It goes right back to your website. So again, all roads lead to your website, providing that value that's more local. It's not going to seem so fluffy, generic for everybody.
Right. Yeah, that's perfect. And it's really, it's going to be different from what others are doing because most people are not doing email marketing anymore.
Exactly. And the good thing about it is something that you can outsource to your assistant.
Yeah.
You work with them, set up the template. Okay, here's, where we get that, the featured listing, you let them know, whatever it is. But it's really easy to be able to outsource that.
Yeah.
Because it's not something personal, like you're texting someone to have that conversation, which really only you can do. But this is something that's easily outsourced from your assistant and all that kind of fun stuff.
For sure. And this is kind of a follow-up from last week. Another great strategy is social media. You need to be the educator on social media. Don't have it just be just listed, just sold, but share education, things that are helpful to people, whether it's about the market conditions, or for me, because I'm a broker of an office, I share things that are shared from the board. Or there was a great article by Lawrence Yun, who's the chief economist of NAR. He spoke in front of the Senate last week, and that article, I shared that. Share things. And you don't have to come up with the stuff. There's so much to find out there that you can share, but making you the educator, making you the reason why people want to look at your Facebook page.
It's crazy because most of that content is in our feeds anyway. So you just hit that share to page, done.
Yep.
Boom. Just like that. Takes 5 seconds.
I know. Well, my biggest problem is when I find 4 things I want to share all at the same time. And I'm like, well, I can't do that because that's too much sharing.
Oversharing. That's when I go and I schedule. And I really I use Hootsuite and Twitter just for finding that kind of information so that I can kind of copy and paste and schedule it out.
Yeah. But, so, you if you are using your social media in that way,
be the mayor of your town. It's not just about listings and, sold market data. Be the educator, whether it be in real estate terms or whether it be local events and just fun spots to go. There's so many different ways that you can use social media to your benefit for that engagement and all that other stuff. Exactly.
And then here's another one that I always kind of bring up and talk about, and it's funny. So I teach this class at the Board of Realtors. It's called MLS 101. And when someone gets in trouble, part of their thing is they get a fine and they get to spend 2 hours with me teaching them MLS 101. It's a fun class, though. It really is.
I can't imagine being stuck with you for however many hours. That would be pretty.
It's a fun class. I will say,
be a punishment.
Usually people come in and they're like in a mood, they're like, I can't believe, and I had these 2 people last week, And by the time it was done, they were like, "Oh my God, we're so glad we came!" And I mean, they had to come; they didn't have a choice. But it was fun, and we learned stuff. But anyway, I had this younger kid. You know what? I don't know how old he is, but I would suspect he was under 30. And we then, because it was just he and I, we had extra time to just kind of talk about the business. And he's like, something that I'm doing that most people my age aren't is snail mail. And I looked at him and I was like, exactly. And he goes, you'd be surprised. And I was like, no, I wouldn't. And what it was is, you'd be surprised. They save those postcards. They put them in the kitchen junk drawer. And when it comes time, they pull it back out and they're calling you. So if you had shied away from or stopped using snail mail in the past 5 years or so, go back to it. Go back to the postcards. Go back to, there's a person in my neighborhood. She's kind of owned the neighborhood for years. She sends a monthly newsletter out. It's in an envelope, so people have to open it. I suspect they're opening it, but who knows? But those big postcards, send them. And it doesn't always have to be just listed, just sold. It could be information. It could be information about the neighborhood, information about the market, information about yourself, whatever it is. But I think it's such a great tool that people have kind of stopped using.
And to me, it's like, I like the postcards because even if it's going to end up in the trash can, like usually junk mail doesn't make it into my house. It goes into
right
on the way out. The big thing about that is, on a postcard, they don't have to open anything. Your branding is right there, your face, your name,
yep.
Whatever it is. I'm kind of reading that on my way to the garbage can. And that's and it's still that first impression, right?
Right.
So if I get a lot of those in my neighborhood, when I'm thinking of selling, or when we're talking about it, that's the first name that's going to come to mind, for them to be able, you'll get another one next month, and you'll always have that. And yes, I mean, when I was selling, I remember somebody called me 6 months after I sent a postcard, and because it was in their drawer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of mind blowing. So I like postcards. I know I used to do like monthly postcards and a quarterly newsletter, which kind of had the different things, but a lot of it was really going over the kind of like the old school market report. Because I remember this was like probably before computers,
right,
a while ago, where I did, the market activity, all the listings that had sold, the active, under contract, bedroom, bath, if they had a pool or not, just so that they would know what's going on in the area.
Right.
And I think at the time, that was when a lot of like investors were kind of just buying things, and I feel people were getting taken advantage of. So I came from a place of value, like, don't undersell because you think it's a lot of money,
right?
You're making up prices, 06, whatever,
Right.
I mean, it's like, here's what I think it should go for. Let's just add 50,000 and watch it sell, because nothing made sense back then,
right?
But it was really coming from a place of value to let them know what's really going on for that subdivision. And it's like, I always pick at least 3 farming areas, different locations, different price ranges, and that's really where the focus was. And now on postcards and letters or anything, I love that you can easily use QR codes.
So funny about QR codes, because I remember it's got to be 10 years ago or so, if not more, when you first came to Remax Elite, and we were doing QR codes, and it was such a nobody got it, nobody understood it, and they very quickly.
At that time, it was one, people didn't understand it, so they're like,
at all
what's wrong with your printer? 2, you had to have an app to read it.
Right.
3, you had Microsoft and Google kind of competing for that same space, so it's like you had to have 2 different apps. So,
but now, thanks to thanks to COVID,
right,
and we all had to use our phones to QR code the menu at the restaurant. Everybody knows how to use it now. You don't even have to do anything. You just put on your camera and you're good to go.
Yeah. So I love the QR codes. I mean, I know, I've done whole classes on QR codes. whether it be on the postcard, make it be for, a home valuation landing page. So you're actually getting those leads. All they're doing is just, and they scan it, put their camera on, scan the QR code, enter their address, and now they have that AVM. So at least you now get that. Or maybe it's a QR code that's going to a page about that neighborhood, specific to that neighborhood, that has the market reports, that has all the listings. You could do either or. So I know a lot of times we always use that QR code. The great thing is QR codes basically allows you to track who's doing it and when. So when you're scanning that, and that's going to give you a lot of intel. I'm the tracker. I geek out on all the numbers and stuff like that. But I know, like, some people do like mini billboards, or, like Steve does around Viera. So it's like, let's use a different QR code for each sign. Obviously,
and then we know which one's working and which one's not.
Right. When you have one for buyers, one for sellers. And I think he was looking to kind of figure out which one worked and only do one in a specific area. But by using the QR code, by using, a URL shortener, you don't have to have different, like, you could also have different domains, but really the QR code, it's going to give you that intel. So yes, on that first Friday when they're doing the events, oh my gosh, like, that's when my QR codes blow up. So I know maybe I should get a table at this event.
Right.
Because people are actually scanning. To me, QR codes, it's not just, some squiggly weird box.
Right.
It's going to give you a lot of tracking and intel, and it's providing, them something to be able to do. So yes, I'm all about that. And on postcards, on your snail mail, on any marketing. You can put stickers. They have waterproof stickers. You could have it printed for just that listing. Put it on your real estate sign that maybe go to, you can use Linktree, or I use Canva. So it has all the different links. That is a live document. So I can add links for all my new listings.
Right.
So you even have sign writers that have one QR code that's going to that, and you're updating it. So
yeah.
There's so many things you can do with. Okay, don't get me. Okay, yep.
No, that's good.
It's
a good way of linking the old, so the snail mail, the old kind of tried and true way of doing things with the new, which is the QR code. Mm-hmm. which is super cool.
Yes. Honestly. And then of course the fourth one, it may not be business related, but I feel it is, especially in a changing market, is just your mind and health, is still making sure that you're taking time for yourself, for your family. We're all about that balance. And in the last couple of years, it's been really hard. I think harder than normal to keep that balance.
For sure. Like, I have this app on my phone. It's called Calm. And it guides you through, I don't know if it's a 5-minute or 10-minute meditation. And so I don't always remember to do it. You can set an alarm so it will come on and remind you every day. But that's something that I've been trying to make work for me.
I joined a gym.
You can join a gym. You can read a book. So a couple weeks ago, I went down to South Florida with my college friends, and they're in a book club. And we were talking about the book club, and they're like a hardcore book club. They're like, we meet at the library, and if you haven't read the book, you get kicked out of the club. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, isn't book club like someone's house? We're drinking wine. And they're like, no, we really talk about the book. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, that doesn't sound like one bit of fun to me, but I'm glad you guys have been doing this for 20 years.
That's one thing that I miss. And I never really had the chance to be able to read books, even though I like having them. So I have them all, but I do them on Audible. And the one thing was, driving to the office every day. That's, when I would have that time to do that. And now I don't have that drive time, which was one of the reasons I wanted to join a gym. Instead of, they have all these virtual apps that you can do, so you can do it at your house. And I'm like, I need to be able to get in the car and be able to have that time. And to me, like Jeep therapy, I just jam up my music and just drive. And that's like so good for my soul, you know?
Well, and it's funny because I've been thinking, I used to have a convertible years and years ago when I was like 21 years old, just a little Triumph Spitfire. And then I sold it because it was my only car, and you can't just have one car. Like, you can't have your only car be a convertible. I mean, I guess you can, but
my dogs won't fit in a convertible.
But I've been thinking, I want to get another one again, and I just might get like just a used Mini Cooper or something like that for that same reason. Like, I like to just get in it. I love driving. Like, I know you love driving too. Like, I even love driving on a road trip, and even if it's by myself, because it's kind of when I
kind of like it better by myself.
Well, yeah, there's that.
Because I get my own music. Like, I have to do the country.
Your own music. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have anybody going, why aren't you talking? Because I'm thinking. This is where I like to think, But it's good for the soul, or for my soul anyway, and I know it's good for your soul. So I've been kind of thinking, I want to get a little, convertible fun car.
Yeah, so that's, for me, it's like, okay, that's why I needed to join a gym, is because I miss those, the little driving things. And a lot of that was when I was doing my physical therapy and I had to go get in my car. I mean, it's kind of nice that, especially with gas the way it is,
right,
I don't have to drive all the time, but there's something about just being able to jam and just drive. And I just don't do it a lot now that, my office is in my backyard. I don't go very
you don't have a place to go.
So I'm like, I'm going to join a gym so that it forces me, because there's something about, for me, it's the music, or if I want to listen to the book or something like that. So that's where I was like, nope. Plus, I don't know anybody. So I guess it's, at some point I'm going to need to get out and,
meet some people.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing when you're born and raised in one city, and then it's like culture shock when it's like, oh, I don't know anybody.
I know, right? Especially because you kind of live, out there.
Other people live out here. I mean, I have a bunch of cows, could be my friends, but.
Right, but you know what I mean,
Yeah, so I just thought, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to join the gym. It's going to force me. And I just realized for me, it was like my mind, and it just puts me in a mood. I still have my UPW playlist from how many years ago was that?
Wow. Yeah.
So that is like my jam to get me to change that state of mind. I think because it probably brings me back to that time.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
But it's like whenever I'm, speaking or something like that, that's what I'm listening to. It just does something, and it just, from my mind, it's just so music for me, and just throwing the windows down and taking the top off for sure.
Right.
My Jeep.
Right.
It's for me, that's just like, it just releases those endorphins or whatever. But yeah, so hopefully joining the gym, but making sure you're eating right, because it's super easy to get caught up in other, junk. I know when I put in a bunch of junk, it just makes me feel bad. And
right.
To me, it all just kind of goes together.
Exactly. So that's it. So email marketing, if you haven't been doing it, try it out. Start simple, maybe do a newsletter once a month and put some local content in it. Social media, be the educator out there. Let's get back to snail mail and include your QR code, and then make sure you're taking care of yourself, for sure.
Absolutely. What's our weekly activity?
Well, reach out to at least 10 people and send them a message or a token of appreciation, and just kind of make their day.
I love that. And then the words of wisdom is: attract what you expect, reflect what you desire, become what you respect, and mirror what you admire. It's pretty deep.
That is pretty deep. That's deep. I'm going to have to play that in my head a couple times, but that is deep. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, until next week, wake up, kick